Dynamite, and we're gonna be doing tie-dye today. I have 3 different kinds, and the first one is going to be with ice. So what you have to do first is take your white shirt and soak it in some water. That way the color from the tie-dye can soak in really well. I'm just squishing mine out so it's not dripping everywhere. So you're gonna have a soaked shirt, and then you can do the pattern. So what I'm using is elastics, and for this pattern, I'm gonna make it a spiral. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch parts of my shirt and twist it. Once it's twisted, I'm just gonna wrap my elastic around it so it's tied. So I'm gonna do a few, and then I will show you what it looks like after. All right, so I'm just doing 2 little ones, and then I'm going to roll up my whole shirt into one big spiral. Make sure that it's nice and tight. That way it doesn't fall out when you do your elastics. Once you have your spiral, it's like a little ball, and then you're just gonna put elastics every way. So that way, to make sure it's nice and secure. There's not really a number. You can put as many as you want. My shirt kind of came out a bit, so I'm just gonna add a few extra, but it's still got the spiral shape. And they work as a divider, so if you're using, like, say 2 colors and you wanna do a pattern, with your spirals in between, you could know where to put them because you can see the elastics dividing the shirt up as well. All right. So mine's one big ball, lots of elastics, but it's not coming out. Nothing's falling apart. So then what I'm gonna do is, because I'm doing the ice technique, I'm gonna put my ice cubes on top of it. And what's gonna happen is I have some powder that I haven't mixed yet. So it just comes in my containers. There's no liquid in it, and I'm just gonna put some of the powder on top of the ice. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of powder, not too much, and when the ice melts, it'll go down in it. Like I said, I've never done the ice one, so we'll have to see after they're rinsed out and washed what it will look like. I might have to add more tie-dye or redo it, which is fine. That's one thing good about tie-dye. If you don't have enough colors, you can always re-tie-dye it as many times as you want. So with the ice one, because it's a spiral, you kind of have to do it in 2 sections. So right now there's white at the bottom here. I can't flip it over because the ice is on it. So what you'll do is, once the ice has melted, you'll flip it over and do the same thing. So I'm gonna leave that one there and do my next pattern. So this one that I'm going to do is probably better for the ice now that I've started it, but that's okay. So you're gonna get out your shirt. I'm actually gonna do this one. Any shirt that you want, white is best. And you're gonna roll it up. However way you want. I like to do it tight. Oh, I rolled a leaf in it. Roll it up. Oh my goodness, I didn't soak it. We gotta soak them before we tie-dye them to make sure the color sticks. So it's rolled. If you want, you can fold it in half. I think I will because my shirt's a little long. And then you're gonna put elastics along it. So I'll show you my first one. You can put as many as you want again. There's no number. It's whatever you want. All right, so you keep putting elastics along this way. So this one isn't crisscross like the other one. I have mine all the way across. And again, it's hard to see the elastics, but you can use them as a pattern to put different colors in. And this one is probably best for the ice one that we just did. But that's okay, we'll see how it turns out. So for these ones, once you have the powder that I left, you're going to add water to it. So there is a black line on most of the bottles that they come with, and you're gonna fill the water up to that. Make sure the lid is really tight, and then shake it. I'm just gonna add water because I did my ice ones. Put a little bit less because I used the powder. And then you're gonna shake it up. They do come with gloves, or you can get your own gloves so you don't get ink on you if you are messy. But Dynamite's just gonna wing it today. You can do as many colors as you want. So you're gonna do one side. Don't worry about using too much. You gotta really soak them. And you're gonna do both sides like this. So you're gonna cover it all up. And it's easier if you use the same colors on both sides. That way you don't get like a brownie color or anything. So how my end here is blue, when I flip it over, I'm gonna do that side blue as well. But you don't have to, you can do them random. I just like to make sure that I don't end up with brown tie-dye. But you won't necessarily if you mix your colors right. You're just gonna do the whole thing till it's covered. And the good thing is with doing tie-dye is you get a lot of dye. So you might want to have a few projects going if you start a new tie-dye kit. That way you're not emptying a lot of it out. It can do a lot. So I have a bunch of shirts here. You can really tie-dye anything. You can tie-dye socks, blankets, pillowcases, sweaters, whatever you want. You don't have to even use white shirts. You can use like a light color, or depending on the colors you use. Like if I was using these dark ones like the purple and the blue, I could even do a pink shirt, whatever. It just, the colors won't be as bright on other colored shirts. So now that one side's done, it's all soaked, I can't really see any white. I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Like I said, you don't have to. I just like to, so that it's the same and I don't end up with browns. If you are in a space that you can't get dirty, like I'm getting some color on the grass here, you can always put a tarp down. If you're doing inside, I suggest doing it outside just because then you don't have to worry. But that way you don't get a mess everywhere. All right, so that one's done. So what you do after your shirt is all in the color and you see no white, you're going to take a plastic bag or a garbage bag and you're gonna put it inside the garbage bag and let it soak. Some people say you only need to wait a few hours. I like waiting like a whole day, 24 hours, just to make sure it's really soaked in. And I tie it up so it doesn't make a mess everywhere else. So it's soaked in. That's gonna sit for a day. What I'm gonna do after 24 hours is I'm gonna take water, cold water, and I'm gonna take off the elastics, open up the shirt so it looks back up like this, except it'll be all colorful, and you'll soak it in the shirt. You'll soak it in the water. That way all the extra tie-dye that doesn't absorb into the shirt rinses off, and then you're gonna put it in a washer. Make sure you don't have any other laundry in it because the tie-dye colors could still leak even though you've rinsed it off. Wash it, put it in the dryer, and you're good to go. So I have one more pattern to show you. I did the spiral already with the ice one, but just in case that doesn't turn out, I'm going to do another spiral shirt. I'm going to pinch and make little spirals and then tie them and then make my whole shirt into one big spiral. So there's not really any way to do it. The little spirals might just make little pockets of like white, but I just like doing it because it's something a little bit different. I am only showing you 2 patterns with the spiral and the rolling one. The ice is a different technique. Like I said, I've never done it. I wanted to try it. I've heard it kind of makes like a galaxy because the colors spread differently. We'll have to see how they turn out in 24 hours after I wash them. But you can do hearts. You can use black clothes and use bleach to tie-dye. That's like a whole nother thing. But it is a lot of fun because you can do whatever you want with it and make it your own. So mine, I have 4 spirals. And then again, I'm gonna make my shirt one big spiral, nice and tight. And if some things fall out, you can just use more elastics. And I'm getting some color on the shirt from my hands because I did not use gloves. Or even if you use gloves, you might get some. But it's okay because you're adding more color to it and it will all go away. So this one I'm gonna do some pink. And try to make a pattern here. See how it goes. And I want some yellow. I want this one to be bright. Maybe some blue too. All right, so that one's covered, all done, full. And I'm gonna put it in a bag, and like I said, wash it in 24 hours before you put it in your washer. You wanna rinse it in cold water to get out any of the excess dye. But that's it. I will show you how mine turned out, and I hope to see you guys try it and send me some pictures. Make sure you register for virtual camp. Bye.